For interpretation, please. Okay? Okay? C'est bon? Okay? Thank you, merci. We are the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa. We are happy to welcome you to our side event on reconciling the climate crisis, conservation of biodiversity, and food systems in the Congo Basin. So first of all, I really want to appreciate and thank the Congo Basin for giving us the opportunity to have this side event here. We don't take it for granted, but really appreciate the support you're giving to the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa. So we have a panel of speakers for about 5 of them. But I just want us to begin so that we don't waste much time. But remember that we'll have a session for the audience to ask questions, to make comments after our speakers. So I want to invite Dr. Million Bilei, the General Coordinator for the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, to take us through the project in the Congo Basin, and so that we can understand what the Alliance for Food Sovereignty has for the Congo Basin. You're most welcome, Dr. Million.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm sorry that I'm not speaking in French, even though it's only one country from the Congo Basin who speaks English, that's Cameroon. What I'm going to do now is I will talk about AFSA, the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, and I will talk about the project. I'll try to speak as slow as possible. Our brother professor is interpreting. Thank you very much for interpretation. I don't know whether the chairs are blocking your view. The Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa is a network of networks. It is broad-based. When we say it is broad-based, we mean there are farmers' organizations, fisher folks, pastoralists, indigenous people, women, youth, and consumer organizations. It's the largest group in Africa, working in 50 of the 55 African countries. Food sovereignty is a main concept. We are very much happy that these days, even at the country level and at the African Union level, more and more the food sovereignty agenda is prominent. The purpose that we started AFSA is to have create a network which has a loud voice on issues that we all agree in Africa. And now it's food sovereignty. The members of AFSA, we have 43 members. They are the General Assembly, we have a board, we have the Secretariat with 16 staff. Our main office is in Kampala, but we are open. We have registration with the Senegalese government in Senegal. We are hoping also to create an office in Central Africa in the future when this project starts. These are the contexts under which we operate. I am not going to go deep into them. The first is a Green Revolution narrative. The Green Revolution narrative has failed in India, and it has failed also in Africa. So our narrative is agroecology. I will explain what that is. The worsening climate emergency and biodiversity degradation. We no longer say climate change, we say climate crisis or climate emergency. The corporate control of our food system is one of the contexts. Erosion of our culture is another context. Urbanization is important, but when it is not planned, it's also a problem. The increasing pandemic and conflict. Conflict is a very critical issue for us. Internal conflicts, also conflict which is happening outside of the continent. We have 4 working groups in AFSA. AFSA is a network of networks, as I said, and we are very active through our working groups. We have one working group working on strengthening farmers' management system. And the second working group, the working group which is active here now, is the integrating agroecology into climate policy spaces. The third one is empowering community voices for land rights and healthy soils. And the last one is mobilizing citizens' knowledge and entrepreneurship for sustainable food systems. So these are the 4 working groups. The AFSA members are divided into these 4 working groups and are active in these 4 working groups. So we have 2 ways of working. One is resistance, and the second is providing solutions. What we are resisting is control of farmer seeds through laws and legislations and other means. We resist that. We resist the spread of GMOs and gene-edited crops. We resist forced solutions for the climate. We resist land, water, and other resources grabbing by big companies. We resist the control of food or our food system, and wrong narratives. Narratives which say that Africans cannot feed themselves without the use of agrochemicals, or orienting our agriculture into market, or giving our land to other actors, So we resist, but more and more we are promoting a solution. So how we are addressing Africa's challenges related to food system? This is our theory of change. The center of our theory of change, at the center, is African people-led agroecological transition for food sovereignty. That's how we are promoting. That's how we exist. That's the center of our work. But how do we do that? We do research. We mobilize knowledge, for evidence for agroecology. That's one of our work. Based on the evidence, we do policy advocacy for policy change, both at the country level or at the regional level. We scale up agroecological practices, and we create a vibrant movement. And also, through communication, we shift narrative. So this is our area of work. So one thing that we have asked ourselves back in 2013, over 10 years ago, was, does agroecology work in Africa? So we started to collect cases from all over Africa. If we do this mapping now, it will cover all of Africa. Sorry. And you can find these cases on our website. So we published all those cases. If you go to our website, you can find our publications. Basically, we are based, as you say, on science. I will take like 2-3 hours to explain this. But this is the science of agroecology. I think the last slide that you see is the 13 principles of agroecology, the 10 elements of agroecology, and the levels of agroecology. That's what you see here. So agroecology, it increases yield and productivity through agroecology. The income of local communities would increase because of agroecology. There will be an improvement in the fertility of the soil. So soil fertility is very much important in agroecology. It sequesters carbon, aiding adaptation. So carbon sequestration is very, very much important. The food that we produce through agroecology is culturally appropriate. So cultural appropriateness of food is very much important. The increased diversity in crops and vegetables. This is very much important. But what is equally important is food production and distribution are under the control of farmers. So, based on the research, we could find out that all these are the traits of agroecology. So, in providing solutions, We promote farmers management system. We are working with the African Union to promote that. Increase knowledge and practice for healthy soil and healthy food. And we promote African agroecological entrepreneurship. And the territorial markets, these are critical, you know. The small markets that we find in Africa are very much important, you know. Some people say that, you know, development is having big malls, but territorial markets in local communities are very, very critical, because these are sites of social significance, cultural significance, and also they are important for circular economy. Research have shown that people, when they are trading in local market, gets much more money than we have middlemen collecting products and selling them outside of that community. Integrating agroecology into climate policy spaces is very much important. We have a campaign which is called My Food is African. In DRC, it's My Food is Congolese. In Cameroon, my food is Cameroonian. In Ethiopia, My Food is Ethiopian. In Uganda, My Food is Ugandan. But in general, we have a campaign which is called My Food is African. This is to promote the value of African food, to understand the value of African food, and also to have a policy to promote African food. Mobilizing the base, this is basically youth and women also. Quite recently, we organized 1,000 youth summit in Ethiopia. So we mobilize the base and we educate through communication. So I'm coming now to the main purpose of this meeting, which is a Congo Basin Biodiversity, Climate and Agroecology Initiative. This is the initiative that we want to promote here. It will be launched quite soon, but we just wanted to tell you about this project and get your responses from this project. The Congo Basin Biodiversity, Climate and Agroecology Initiative, COBCAI. So these are the Congo Basin countries, as you know: the Democratic Republic of Congo, Republic of the Congo, the Central African Republic, and Cameroon, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. On the map, they are there, and the biggest of all is DRC. This is the richest part of the continent, very rich. When I go, across through the pavilions, and everywhere you see transition to green economy through green energy. So what is the energy source? You know, the energy source for most of this energy, the new forms of energy, is a chemical which is called cobalt. 70% of this cobalt comes from DRC. So for the world transition to green economy, to green forms of energy, is DRC. For the whole world. I think we should really realize that. And also, it's one of the lungs of the whole globe. Some people say that is much more important than the Amazon. Protecting the forest here is very much important in terms of diversity. So it's huge, 300 million hectares, you know. It's Africa's largest forest and the second largest in the world, playing a critical role as planet's lung by absorbing carbon and maintaining global biodiversity. Even though that is the case, its vital ecosystem faces increasing pressure from accelerating deforestation, driven by agriculture, logging, mining, and infrastructure development. It's in danger. Between 2010 and 2030, for 10 years, the basin could lose 26 million hectares of forest. That's 10% of its total cover. 10%, that's a lot. Despite these whales, the regions are among the lowest in human development indicators, you know, and may and many areas suffer from chronic food insecurity. It's rich, it's poor. The region faces a challenge of balancing economic growth with forest conservation, improving agricultural practices, and enhancing livelihoods without further deforestation. This is a challenge for the region. So what we did was, there are so many conservation organizations focusing on the forest and also on the biodiversity in the area, especially the big and important animals. And there are some also who are concerned about the climate crisis in the area. Quite recently, they found, I think in DRC, a big pit, And this peatland, it was found that if it is disturbed, it will release high amount of carbon dioxide and it will accelerate the greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere. So people are worried up. But there is little discussion about the food system in this area. So in Kinshasa, what we have done is to bring local actors, especially food producers. The composition is indigenous people, civil society, farmers organizations, religious organization, and other actors. So close to 230 participants came to this meeting. So through 3 days of discussion, they have agreed on 9 ideas. So we invited the leadership of these 9 initiatives to Kampala, and we had a meeting to clarify the program and strategic orientation and implementation approach with lead country organizations. So we brought them to Kampala, and in Kampala we have agreed on a goal, on an objective that I am going to present to you. Some people say, why Kampala? Because organizing a meeting in the region is a little bit expensive. That's the main reason. Otherwise, we would have gone to Kampala happily. But we didn't leave it there. We said, okay, we have this document, but it has to go back to the actors on ground. And the actors on ground have to discuss this document, and after that, we will develop the biggest proposal. I think the result of this discussion will be presented by the 2 countries, DRC and Cameroon, after me. But the domestication of this proposal was done. So next stage is now we are developing the biggest proposal to raise funding. So the overarching goal is restoring ecological balance, strengthening food sovereignty, and protecting human rights in the 6 countries of the Congo by mobilizing civil society organizations and food producers. When we say food producers, it means farmers, fisher folks, and pastoralists, empowering indigenous people in local communities, and engaging governments and international partners. So these are very, very key partners. Yeah? To restore ecological balance and food sovereignty by civil society mobilization, empowering local community, and working with government and international partners, because the funding should come from them. So these are the 3 specific objectives: fostering emergence of civil society movements dedicated to supporting food sovereignty in the region. This is one of the objectives, the civil society. The second one is improving the knowledge, skills, and technical capacities of farmers and other stakeholders through co-creation of knowledge. Capacity building is the second objective. The third one is supporting the expansion of agroecology in the basin agricultural landscapes. So the third objective is to spread agroecology. This is a target Direct beneficiaries are 130,000, over 1 million are indirect beneficiaries, 7 million hectares of microzoning, 600 agroecological farmer field schools, 6,000 agroecological farms established, and 12,000 hectares under agroecological production. Basically, these are the targets, very ambitious, but very doable. So this has 5 program components. Part 1 or pillar 1, that there are 5 pillars. Advocating for policy change. In advocating for policy change, raising awareness and developing advocacy tools, supporting the development and revision of policies for inclusive agroecology-based food systems. Under pillar 1, ensuring civil society participation in monitoring policy implementation at the national and regional level. So the policy change is one pillar. And we are very much happy to have government delegates here with us. The second thing is the agroecology movement, building structured agroecological movement, mapping and supporting stakeholders and formalizing networks, enhancing technical expertise and project management skills in agroecology. This is already happening. In DRC, there is already a movement, there is a group. In Cameroon, there is already a group. In Gabon, it's already starting, and we are planning to do the same in the other parts of also the Bassin. The research is the third pillar. Conduct research on the productive potential for agroecology, identifying and validating sustainable agroecological practices, and establishing research centers and disseminating findings through innovative media. So research is the third pillar of this project. The fourth is promoting climate resilient agroecological systems. This is supporting communal land registration, developing community farm field schools. These are practical schools on ground, supporting communal agroecological farms, the emergence of agroecological value chains and territorial markets. So the fifth pillar is program coordination. Program coordination, communication and information management. Communication very much important. South-South learning and monitoring, evaluation and learning systems to track country level programmatic results and generate learnings. So under all those pillars, other considerations like indigenous peoples agenda, women agenda, youth agenda, all that will be an overarching principle, and they are the cross-cutting issues, basically. So there has to be institutional collaboration, works closely with the national platforms affiliated to the Central African Farmers Organization platform. As an example will be PROPAG. It will seek alignment with regional level initiatives, Economic and Monetary Committee of Central Africa, CEMAC, Blue Fund and the Central African Forest Initiative. Blue Fund is very much important. Initiatives carried by UN agencies and international organizations, local and regional research and training centers, traditional leadership phase groups, etc. This is continuing. So at the country level, there are many institutions. In the region, there are many institutions. So institutional collaboration is very, very much important. So thank you very much. This is a project.
Thank you very much, Dr. Million. You see such a big project in the Congo Basin, and I'm sure all of us here are eager to beginning that project. As Dr. Million has said, This is a project that is ongoing with partners in Congo Bassin, because we already have partners in Cameroon, we have partners and coalitions, alliances in Gabon, we have partners in DRC Congo. So we really look forward to this big project. I'm sure you all want to see what happens, and you know it's a process, especially where there's advocacy work. Million has talked about us working closely with our government representatives, and I want to take this opportunity to really appreciate our government representative, especially the Secretary General, Mr. Benjamin. We really appreciate your work, and therefore I would want you to give you 5 minutes to just talk a little bit about the project and how the process has been. I know we had a very big summit in Kinshasa. You supported us on that, and you've been supporting us. The other day we had a side event at the DRC Congo Pavilion. We really supported us also. So kindly welcome and speak to us in 5 minutes about the project and how you feel. Welcome.
Bien, merci beaucoup, madame, pour m'avoir donné la parole. Bien, ma vision pour le projet. Si j'ai écouté bien Dr Million, aujourd'hui et l'autre fois dans notre stand, je pense que j'ai les mêmes sentiments de ce projet. Ce n'est pas un projet très compliqué, non. Parce que c'est un programme qui respecte l'agriculture de nos traditions. C'est-à-dire, nous rentrons dans nos bases. C'est ça la facilité de ce programme. Il est vrai que dans la conception, ça demande l'implication de toutes les parties prenantes. Ça demande les autorités, ça demande les communautés locales, ça demande les peuples autochtones, ça demande le vieux, ça demande les jeunes. Mais dans son objectif, c'est un programme qui nous amène à respecter nos cultures dans chaque pays concerné. Ça nous demande le respect de nos traditions. C'est-à-dire, un peuple autochtone, par exemple, qui est habitué à faire sa petite agriculture dans son coin, une population locale qui est habituée dans sa tradition, il est facile d'être impliqué dans ce programme. Parce que ça ne demande pas des éléments qui viennent d'ailleurs, par exemple les engrais chimiques, non. Et comme vous attendez bien, vous avez écouté que c'est l'agroécologie, c'est-à-dire l'agriculture qui est favorable d'abord dans son milieu et qui est aussi applicable avec des techniques traditionnelles. Des techniques qui sont connues dans le milieu. Le seul aspect qu'il faut améliorer, c'est ces techniques traditionnelles. Parce que souvent, on croit que ce que nous apportons des grandes firmes, par exemple, c'est ça ce qui peut sauver nos communautés. Non. Ici, il est vrai que nous avions besoin de technologies, de grandes technologies, de grands espaces. Mais parfois, les communautés n'ont pas ces espaces-là. Les communautés n'ont pas la capacité d'amener, par exemple, des engrais. parce que c'est de l'argent. Et même si vous avez cet argent pour avoir ces engrais, on ne sait pas les conséquences qui peuvent nous amener dans notre santé, que ce soit dans la santé du sol, que ce soit dans la santé humaine. Donc par conséquent, nous en tant que responsables, en tant qu'autorité de l'environnement, on soutient cette agriculture parce que ça s'est fait dans des techniques traditionnelles. Mais ces techniques traditionnelles sont améliorées. Pourquoi améliorer? Parce que nous devons avoir un rendement qui peut être utile pour les communautés, qui peut être utile pour les peuples autochtones, et qui peut nous amener aussi à beaucoup produire avec des techniques améliorées qui ne peuvent nous amener avec des engrais qui peuvent nous amener des maladies. Qui nous amènent à utiliser des semences locales, bien que des semences améliorées, mais pas des semences qui nous amènent des cultures qui viennent des OGM, par exemple. Si aujourd'hui on montrait les conséquences qu'apportent les OGM avec les riz que nous importons, je pense que demain, parmi nous, il n'y a personne qui peut accepter de prendre ces riz ou ces haricots ou ces produits qui viennent de ces OGM. Nous voulons avoir, par exemple, une agriculture où l'élevage se fait d'une manière traditionnelle. Et je suis sûr que notre ami qui vient du Cameroun va nous parler de cela. Vous voyez que c'est un élevage qui va nous donner des produits bio. Je pense que dans nos cultures, on parle de l'agriculture bio, de l'élevage bio. Et on veut que nous puissions manger bio. Parce que c'est une agriculture qui coûte aussi moins cher. Mais quand c'est bien amélioré et bien ficelé, ça peut nous amener à produire beaucoup et à nous produire des effets négatifs, moins des effets négatifs. Donc, raison pour laquelle moi, en RDC, je soutiens ce projet d'AFSA qu'on vient de nous présenter. Je suis très positif et j'encourage les pays impliqués pour que nous tous, nous puissions s'adhérer à ce programme d'AFSA. Parce qu'à mon sens et à ma compréhension, c'est un programme très facile à réaliser. Bien sûr, ça demande des moyens. Parce que quand nous voyons la population autochtone, les communautés locales, c'est ces populations-là qui sont visées. Et nous avons besoin des moyens. Raison pour laquelle nous avons par exemple le CAFI, en RDC, un partenaire très important pour nous, et que nous sommes prêts de nous engager. J'ai une part de responsabilité là-dedans, et je ne manquerai pas de mettre ma signature pour m'engager et demander à CAFI, par exemple, de soutenir ce projet. Parce que ce projet, CAFI, travaille avec les communautés. Travaille avec des techniques traditionnelles simples. Donc, en tant que responsable, mais en tant que aussi président du programme, dans ce programme CAFI. Je suis le président qui valide les programmes. Et s'il est soumis avec une agence d'exécution, c'est à ça de l'identifier dans notre pays. En tout cas, je ne manquerai pas de soutenir ces programmes parce que je les trouve très intéressants et peut soutenir nos populations dans les pays, dans la sous-région du bassin du Congo et en Afrique. Donc voilà un peu en quelques mots ce que je voulais dire. Ici, nous voulons rentrer un peu là où peut-être nous avions oublié les techniques traditionnelles. L'agroécologie, c'est cette agriculture qui respecte nos milieux. L'agroécologie nous amène un peu à réduire nos émissions. C'est ça l'objectif de ce programme. Ce n'est pas un programme où ça va nous amener à émettre des émissions, non. Mais avec des techniques qui respectent l'écologie, le milieu, en d'autres termes. Donc, c'est un programme qui respecte, qui s'engage à réduire les émissions. C'est simple que ça. Donc voilà un peu mon soutien. Je le soutiens et quand le programme il arrive chez nous, j'ai épuisé mes 5 minutes. Je suis prêt à soutenir le programme et je dis je vous remercie.
The passion from the Secretary General is amazing. And we are happy to have Kathy because we also have worked with her on the Climate for Agroecology campaign in AFSA. And we admire the support that we are getting from the Secretary General, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you very much, and we hope to continue working together. Thanks also for transforming the whole of DRC. I'm sure we are going to support the project until we see the outcomes we want to see out of the project. We were expecting another very passionate government official from Cameroon, but unfortunately he was not able to make it. So I take this opportunity to invite our own Kathy from DRC Congo, a partner going to implement the project, and also a partner working with AFSA, to just speak to the activities and the objectives again, but now related to DRC Congo, on what the plans are. But please keep your questions. We are going to ask questions, make comments at the end of this panel discussion. Thank you so much. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome. Yeah. Do you have a PowerPoint presentation? Or you just speak? Okay.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis vraiment la plus heureuse, vraiment très heureuse d'avoir notre secrétaire général ici et la promesse qui vient de nous faire ce soir. En tout cas, ça me rend vraiment heureuse. Alors, je suis là. Oui, le projet, l'initiative... Oui, je voulais vous parler sur le processus de validation nationale sur l'initiative pour la biodiversité, le climat, l'agroécologie dans les bassins du Congo. Mais je voulais un peu revenir en arrière pour vous dire que le projet initiative pour la biodiversité, le climat dans les bassins du Congo n'est pas tombé du ciel ou soit ça a été élaboré quelque part au bureau. Alors, c'est un projet qui a commencé avec un grand forum au niveau de Kinshasa où il y a eu 6 pays du bassin du Congo qui ont été invités afin que nous puissions réfléchir ensemble sur comment est-ce que nous pouvons concilier les changements climatiques, la biodiversité et la souveraineté alimentaire. Et c'est là où est naquie l'initiative. C'est là où, après avoir échangé avec les représentants de ces 6 pays, au moins 230 participants qui étaient présents, naquit le projet Initiative pour la biodiversité, le climat, l'agroécologie dans les bassins du Congo. Et après que ces projets soient élaborés au niveau de Kampala avec le groupe qui ont été mis en place, il y a eu au moins 9 groupes qui étaient formés au niveau de ces forums. Sur les 9 groupes, ont été réduits à 5 selon les 5 piliers de AFSA. Et parmi ces 5 piliers, comme M. Millon venait de le dire, je ne veux pas répéter le 5 piliers. C'est à partir de là où le groupe ont eu à développer cette initiative par rapport aux besoins de chaque pays. Et au niveau de notre pays, après le développement de l'initiative, nous avons procédé à la validation nationale. Parce qu'il fallait que le projet nous revienne au pays et qu'ensemble, avec notre gouvernement, avec la société civile, avec le peuple autochtone, avec les femmes, les jeunes, ainsi que nos communautés locales, voir en quoi le projet était vraiment important, nécessaire pour le pays. C'est alors que nous avons procédé, au lieu que nous puissions organiser l'atelier seulement à Kinshasa, nous avons trouvé bon qu'il y ait des ateliers provinciaux. Pourquoi? Parce que parmi les participants du forum, il y avait au moins plus de 80 participants qui étaient venus de l'intérieur du pays, soit dans la province. Alors, on n'avait pas une enveloppe consistante afin de les inviter tous au niveau national à Kinshasa. C'est ainsi qu'on a préféré organiser les ateliers provinciaux, puis organiser un autre atelier pour la consolidation et la validation au niveau de Kinshasa. C'est ainsi que nous avons organisé au moins 5 ateliers, au Katanga, Lualaba et Lubumbashi, un autre atelier au Sud Kivu, Sud Kivu, Nord Kivu, Chopo étaient ensemble, un autre atelier à Maniema, un autre atelier à Kenge, un autre atelier au Congo central. Et l'atelier que j'appelle principal, c'était à Kinshasa et ça avait réuni le service de l'environnement, les services de l'agriculture, ça réunit le peuple, les organisations des peuples autochtones, les organisations de la société civile, les femmes, le groupe de femmes, les organisations de jeunes, voire même le ministère de la Jeunesse était présent. C'est au cours de cet atelier que le projet a été validé. Pourquoi nous avons validé le projet? C'est parce que nous avons trouvé que le projet était trop bénéfique pour nous. Parce que si je parle de la RDC, nous avons un problème au niveau de nos provinces. Souvent, nous avons un manque en ce qui concerne, par exemple, les semences. Les semences ne sont pas facilement... Les semences de qualité, au fait. Souvent, pour avoir les semences ou les agri-multiplicateurs, souvent c'est compliqué. Et ceux qui partent souvent dans des provinces, ils seront d'accord avec moi que vraiment l'agriculture que nous, dans le pays du bassin du Congo que nous pratiquons, c'est juste une agriculture de survie. Ce n'est pas vraiment une agriculture à grande échelle. Et pour avoir les semences, c'est vraiment compliqué. Et maintenant, la plupart de nos communautés commencent à recourir plus aux semences qui viennent d'ailleurs, des semences améliorées, pendant que nous-mêmes, nous pouvons produire nos semences et puis les conserver. Alors, le projet ici mettra en place de banques de semences. On a trouvé que c'était important et qu'au niveau de nos provinces, nous n'aurons plus de manque de semences pour que nos productions soient de production bio et puis de qualité. On a aussi trouvé qu'au niveau des renforcements des capacités, la plupart de nos fermiers ou de nos maraîchers ou de nos petits agriculteurs, ils ont un sérieux problème de renforcement des capacités. Il y a la plupart de fois qui ne savent pas que quand le sol n'est plus fertile, comment on peut amender le sol, et ils recourent souvent à des engrais chimiques. Et deux fois, au niveau de nos provinces, pour que les engrais les arrivent, c'est très compliqué. Et alors, qu'est-ce qu'ils font? Ils sont à la recherche de la terre fertile, d'où il y a le boisement de nos forêts. Et nous avons aussi constaté que dans le projet, il y avait l'inclusivité de toutes les parties prenantes. Il y avait le gouvernement, il y avait, comme je venais de le dire, le groupe de femmes, la société civile, les organisations de peuples autochtones. En tout cas, c'était un projet qui était inclusif, ce qui nous a poussé à valider le projet. En quelques mots, voilà ce que je voulais présenter. Merci.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Let's appreciate her again. Let's appreciate her again as we welcome Musa, a pastoralist from the Mbororo in Cameroon, just also to speak about the project. He has been involved in the process and would want to learn from the Cameroon colleagues and the farmers, pastoralists, fisher folks, if they are there, what they do there. So in regards to the project. Thank you very much, Kathy. I know, yeah, when we poison the soil, then we poison our food. But the project will really make that work. Welcome, Musa.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm called Musa Usman Damba. As it said, representing the Mbororo Social and Cultural Development Association and members of APSA, and also a member of the constituents of the climate change and agroecology campaign in Cameroon, which is also a part of this project of the Congo Basin project, which I think we move to the next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Okay, I wish to thank you all. I think the Congo Basin, as a million have already talked about it, and the importance of Congo Basin in Africa and also in the world. But let me also bring maybe this dimension. When we talk about the Congo Basin, we forget to talk about other stakeholders. Pastoralists, we talk about maybe the forest dwellers, like the Baka, Pygmy, but we forget to know that the pastoralists are also a stakeholder in that domain. I know sometimes my colleagues from Congo used to complain to me that the pastoralists are invading their lands in Congo. Yes, they will, as long as you do not keep them safe where they are. And that's why agroecology is something holistic. That's why we need to collaborate. the pastoralists must exist. The forest dwellers must exist. The farmers must exist. And that's what that combination put together is called agroecology. We have not found membership with APSA by error or by accident. It's a calculated strategy to be part of it because APSA or the Alliance for Food Sovereignty and both CUDA find the same common ground. And that's why our alliance and membership of APSA is not by accident. And that's why the Congo Basin is also important for the pastoralists. Let me tell you this. Boscola is carrying on another project, which is called Peaceful Transhumance Corridor. Why this Peaceful Transhumance Corridor is because we provide corridors for the pastoralists to move from Niger, Nigeria, Cameroon, and into Central Africa and even the Congo DRC without venturing into the forest or destroying the farm land along that corridor as they move. Okay, as I said, Dr. Miller talked much about the Congo Basin and is important. I will also talk about the farming population in this who are found in this Congo Basin, and mostly, as my sister said, they are belonging to small circle family farming, which is called agriculture familiale. And that is what APSA is going to support within this project. The Congo Basin Initiative project was also validated in Cameroon recently through a national stakeholders workshop organized by the lead organization in this process, which is the SINOPCAM in Cameroon. So that validation workshop, for example, has brought in over 70 participants, which include government representatives from key sectorial ministries like the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Forests, and also other stakeholders like the Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Agriculture, which are also a very important stakeholder in this initiative. I don't have much time. They are warning me that I have 3 minutes. I like to speak for long. As I said, the initiative represents over 70 stakeholders and is much more